Dear Mr. Stu, I found you in a random search on YouTube. Great, I'm so glad you found me. The episode of Bad Kids Don't Exist you did with Dr. Lee from UNC was such good information. I'd love to see you do more interviews. You know what? There are a few interviews that I've got in the works in my mind, working on some things, but definitely love doing interviews, love hearing from people who have different interests, different specialties other than what I specialize in, and would love to get out even more information so that adults can better understand kids. In the meantime, I have a question. Lately, I've noticed that my child spends almost all their free time glued to their tablet, and it's becoming a real struggle to get them interested in other activities. If you are watching right now, live, either on YouTube or Facebook, and that is also you and your child, throw a like, throw a yes and amen, whatever it might be, if that's you. We used to enjoy outdoor play and family board games, but now it's like the tablet is the only thing that holds their attention. How can I encourage them to engage in other activities without making it feel like a punishment? Yes, that is such a great perspective. First off, I think it's one that so many parents can relate to, that their child is just obsessed with this tablet that they have. Breathe easy. It is a problem, but it's one that you can do something about. And I loved how you framed that question of, I would love to get them engaged in these things, but I don't want them to feel like it's a punishment. I don't want them to feel like they're in trouble or that they've just been bad by watching their tablet that I gave them. That's a great way to frame that question. The number one thing to think about is, what is your technology use like? If you are constantly on your phone, scrolling, typing, tweeting, checking email, just death scrolling through all of the different feeds that you have, and while you're scrolling, you're telling them, hey, it's time to get off your tablet. Do you see how that's a mixed message? You don't want to send that one. Number one, check yourself out. If you are constantly glued to your device, whether it be a phone, tablet, laptop, whatever it might be, you're setting the example for your child. So make sure that you also are aware of your screen time, that you are showing your child healthy boundaries with screens, that you're not just laying in bed and scrolling and typing and looking at all these things that are just keeping you awake, and then you wake up the next day and while you're having coffee, you just keep scrolling. And do you see? Then the child is thinking, this is how life is. This is what my parent does, so this is what I'm going to do. Check your usage first. And then also, that screen-free time should be screen-free for you, especially as you're just getting started in implementing screen-free time. If it's time for a board game or it's time to go play outside, it doesn't mean don't have that device with you, because if there's an emergency or whatever, but it does mean you're not going to be checking that device. It does mean that device is on vibrate. It does mean that device is off. Whatever it might be, that screen time, that screen-free time should be screen-free for you too. A lot of times we just look at kids and we tell them what to do, and we are unwilling to make any change in ourselves to support them in making the change that we want them to make. We want to be able to just do whatever we want to do, and then children should just have to change however we think they should have to change. And that's not how it works. If you want a child to change, a lot of times you have to make a change first. So if you want them to have some screen-free time, you also have to have some screen-free time, and you're going to have to set the example first. Watch your screen time. Screen-free time should be screen-free for you. And then you can let them choose what to do with that screen-free time. Maybe some of the things that you've thrown out as, wouldn't this be fun? Maybe it did used to be fun, but we know kids, the things that they like and don't like change all the time. So let them pick what's going to be the activity. And you can plan for it. You can say, hey, on Friday night, you get to pick between these three things. Which one of these three? Or do you have a good idea? Do you have an idea that's kind of like these three that sounds fun to you? Let them choose whatever the activity might be. That will get them more excited about it. And maybe it is just that those things that used to be fun aren't fun for them anymore. And that's okay, because we all have those things that used to be a good time that we just don't prefer as a relaxing activity anymore. Watch your time. Screen-free time should be screen-free for you too. Let them choose the activity. And then, most importantly, focus on progress over perfection. Maybe your goal is, you know what? I want them to come in and just have full conversations with me and throw their phone off to the side and not even think about it. And that is my dream. That's my goal. That's how I want this to go. Guess what? It ain't gonna go that way the first time, or the second time, or probably the third, fourth. It's gonna take some time to get there. So focus on the progress. Did they put their screen down? Yeah, maybe they put their screen down. They're like, oh, I can't wait to get back to my screen. Guess what? They're still not on it. That's progress. And then they start doing the activity, and maybe they do it for 20 minutes. They're like, oh, this is boring. Okay, I get it. We said we're going to do this for 30 minutes, or we said we're going to do this for an hour. So, you know what? It gets a little boring for me too. Can you think of something you'd like to do, or do you want to keep trying this? Let them have some of that say in what's going on. And then maybe 30 minutes in, they're like, I just want to look at my screen. You can look at them and say, I know, you know what? Sometimes I miss my screens too. But we did say we're going to try this just for 1 hour, and we are halfway there. What do you say? We got to keep it going. Do you want to keep going with this? Do you want to try something else? And focus on that progress. If you are just being frustrated at the child not getting it the first time, it's not going to work. If you are just thinking, you know what, I'm going to say an hour of screen-free time, I'm going to not look at my phone for an hour, and I bet they are going to love our time together even more than scrolling on TikTok. There's a lot of great things on TikTok. I hate to just be the bearer of bad news. There's a lot of really cool stuff on there that could draw their attention away. But if you'll focus on that progress and be like, you know what? They went 15 minutes today without saying that they missed their screen. That's awesome. And you can keep that in mind. And then the next week it's like, you know what? They went 20 minutes today. And then the next week they went 22 minutes and they didn't ask about their screen. And you see that progress build over time as you are putting your screen away and they're putting their screen away, and you're actually having a good time together. Then over time, it will be something that they look forward to, not something that they're dreading, and not something that they feel like is a loss, but something that they are so excited to do because they love that time. But it takes time. As that time is going, it's important to focus on the progress, not the perfection. Let me recap all those points for this specific question. If your child is struggling to give up their screen, first and foremost, check your usage of screens. Make sure that if you implement screen-free time, that's screen-free time for you too. Let them have some say in whatever the activity for screen-free time might be. And finally, focus on that progress over perfection. And then over time, you will enjoy some screen-free time with your child. Thank you so much for that question.